I'm glad to be back with you. You're listening to the SBP Podcast Mobile Filmmaking, and I'm your host, Susie Botello. This is episode 127. I had a really good time at Comic-Con in San Diego, Comic-Con International. And guess who I met there? Our honorary brand ambassador, Jed Brophy.
Mobile Film Festival.
Hi, my name's Jed Brophy. I'm here at the San Diego Comic-Con. I have been trying to get to the San Diego Mobile Film Festival for about 4 or 5 years now, since Blue Moon first premiered in 2018. So we made a film on a phone, an iPhone 7. We made a film in 30 hours with some gear from Moondog Labs. And that film went on to go into 29 festivals and win 9 awards. Just goes to show you that if you have a phone in your pocket, you have the ability to make stories. So here I am on the biggest platform in the world, talking about how to make films on the smallest component in the world. If you have that in your pocket, don't be afraid. Get out there and make stories, because that's what it's all about. Very proud to be one of the ambassadors for the San Diego Mobile Film Festival, run by the wonderful Susie Botello, who's done it for 13 years. Get your films in, make sure you get them in. Get out there and start telling stories, get them into the competition. I'll be one of the judges. I'll make sure that I don't take any favoritism, but let's see what you can make. It's a challenge from me to you, Jed Brophy, from San Diego Comic-Con and Lord of the Rings, the OneRing.net booth. Ka kite. Peace!
MobileFilmFestival.com. Now I can walk the red carpet with what's in my pocket.
Hey, I don't have to do an introduction this time because I've got an introducer with me tonight. Our good friend and brand ambassador, Aaron Nabus. Aaron, welcome back to the show.
Woohoo! Thanks for having me back. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I've been ignoring you. Well, on the podcast anyways. Definitely not in real life.
What's up with that? Where's the love?
We've been so busy, and then summer, I forgot I have this list of people that are going to come on the podcast, and I totally forgot that this is like the first summer since the pandemic, and people are like flying around in Hawaii and having a nice vacation all over town, all over the world, basically. And so it's been tough. Speaking of tough, how was Comic-Con?
Well, luckily for those of you out there who follow my Comic-Con Fit group, I've been walking a lot in preparation for Comic-Con. So at least when it comes to being able to walk all those miles and steps, my legs and feet and my body were pretty much okay by the end of 4.5 days. So I think I ended up walking about, just to say, run it off to like 35 miles in all. So it's pretty good. It's a little bit under my usual amount of steps, but
did you stay under the speed limit while you were doing that many miles? Was it like 55 miles per hour, or?
Actually, I got a ticket.
From the Comic-Con police.
That's right. Those those security guards.
The downtown, that area right there was just popping every single day. I was able to get out, and on Sunday, actually, I went out. Sunday is the day when, for you listeners, is the day that I go out with. Now, I bring my gear with me every single day. I bring, microphone, my little stabilizer, and all that stuff, right? And I always end up so busy and so, how should I call it? Just excited, I suppose, that it's only usually on Sunday when I actually really interview people. But during the rest of the time, I'm shooting B-roll, and I'm actually just doing handheld. I don't pull out the gear or anything for that. I just do a lot of handheld B-roll camera moves. Mm-hmm. So I caught that. A few things that I wanted to talk about regarding mobile filmmaking in the Comic-Con. I shouldn't call it mobile filmmaking, but smartphone video, production, right, or shooting. I want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about one of our other ambassadors from New Zealand that was there. And I want to talk about our sponsor and our good friend also, who you were in a panel with as the moderator. But why don't you share a little bit about that? For guys, talking about Keith and Jones Kid Comics, who sponsored our film festival this year, but he's also, come to the film festival several times, popped in, and we've gone to his event, Black Comics Day here in San Diego since the inaugural one. So, Aaron, tell us a little bit about this momentous experience that Keithan had, because it was pretty epic.
Yes, our good friend Keithan Jones. He's a independent comic book creator. He owns Kid Comics, his own publishing company, and he's the creator, illustrator, writer, inker of the Power Knights. It's a sort of story that's been brewing inside his head since he was 11 years old. And now that he's a little bit older, I won't say how old he is, he's sort of brought that dream to fruition, and he's made that comic book a reality. And he, during the course of, I think the last maybe 5 or 6 years since I've known him, he's made a lot of headway when it comes to comic book creating and becoming a sort of authority when it comes to independent comic books. And also, I'll talk a little bit about later, but he created something called Black Comics Day, which is an important sort of event that happens here in San Diego during African or Black History Month in February. So basically, how the panel came together was he was a special guest at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and it's sort of on the back of him becoming an Eisner Awards judge back in, I think it was last year. So the Eisner Awards are basically the Oscars of comic books. So it's a really big event, and a lot of well-known writers and illustrators and comic book companies attend. So it's one of those prestigious events. Since he was a special guest at this year's Comic-Con, they gave him a sort of spotlight panel that he can sort of talk about his journey as a creator. And I was honored that he asked me to be the moderator. So he's been on the podcast, my podcast, The Hall 8 Show, maybe 4 or 5 times already. And I've gotten to know him throughout the years, and we've become really good friends. And the funny thing is, since he lives here in San Diego, because usually when you're a special guest, they'll fly you out, put you up in a hotel, give you, $100 or 50
Caviar.
$50 a day to spend on food.
Wow,
so
nice.
Pick you from the airport if as well. So, but since he lives here in San Diego, he decided to fly out his co-writer, Noble Ward, to San Diego Comic-Con. So Noble Ward, this is like his first true Comic-Con experience, and he's spoiled right off the bat, because not only does he get to be flown out here from Atlanta, but he gets picked up from the airport. They put him up in a hotel room, and they give him free food basically for the next 4 or 5 days. So it's an incredible experience for him, I'm sure. So seems that he was having a spotlight panel on himself, he wanted Noble Ward to be part of it as well. So basically, the name of the panel was The Power Knights, Realizing a Childhood Dream. And it took place last Friday. And pretty much, I covered, Keithan's sort of start as a comic book creator, which started at a very young age. We talked about how Star Wars was a big factor in his sort of epiphany of how, like, oh, wow, this is such an epic thing that it's sort of put into motion his sort of what he could make as well. So his first comic book that he made was a actual sequel to Star Wars. So that was an interesting thing to share.
long, long time ago in the galaxy far, far away in San Diego, a child named Keithan Jones wanted to be a comic book artist. That was his dream. And he grew up, realized that he had to do something to make a living. So he became a graphic designer. He was pretty successful, ups and downs, but what he really wanted to do was be a comic book artist. So one day at his job, the little voice in his head got really loud and said, "It's time to go." And he reached back into his past where he created the Power Knights. And here they are. Power Knights, created at the age of 11 years old. And they've been with him his entire life. And that was his bridge to creative freedom. He sat down, spent every night for 2 years, working till 3 a.m. in the morning, writing and drawing the Power Knights. Created a company called Kids, which stands for The Kid in You Never Dies, as you can see on my cap. Kid. And he put the book out in 2014, and it's gotten larger every year since. And this year, it's the first year San Diego Comic-Con has recognized Keithan Jones as a special guest, the creator of the Power Knights. And I'm very grateful for it because I've been working tirelessly, as they say, on this project. And this is the culmination, issue 1 of the Power Knights, written by myself, drawn by myself, colored by myself, co-writer Noble Ward, and colorist Salif Thompson, my youngest brother. He is a colorist in training. He's helped me out tremendously. And we hope you all get into the story. It's basically a story about former tyrants who have an opportunity to be heroes on Earth. In their past, they were forced to do terrible things and to please this king. They escaped him, but they were sentenced to death for what they did. However, they survived their death sentence, and now they have a new lease on life on a new planet, which is our planet, Earth. And they have a chance to be heroes or villains. This time it's their choice. So read the book to find out what they decide to do. And that is basically my story. And I will be going to different stores across the West Coast and eventually across the rest of the country and eventually across the world to promote Power Knights and everything I do with kids.
So I want to congratulate officially Keithan for being a guest on that spotlight. And we know he's just going to soar from here, right, Aaron? Do you think he'll remember us a few years from now?
I think so. I mean,
yeah.
we're sort of running the same circles and we see each other all the time. So there's no way he's going to forget about us.
Us little people. You never know, you guys. He wants to go worldwide with what he's doing, and he should. So he may end up where you are. But just remember that name, Keithan Jones. Aaron, what you were using? When you came to our film festival, you filmed and you're using iPhones now, right?
Well, yeah, I did switch to an iPhone just because it just made my workflow easier because I work on a Mac, MacBook Pro, and when I'm, the Notes app.
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
Me too.
And it just made it more easier just to make it consistent because I can write my notes on my computer, I can go to lunch and then continue writing notes on my phone. And
it syncs, the everything syncs, your contacts, your calendar, everything syncs up. And
I just got an Apple Watch, so that just makes my life even more easier. So, I'm not good at wearing. I can wear like simple earthy kind of bracelets. But I don't like watches. I never enjoyed wearing a watch. It always felt intrusive. I guess the only thing I don't like is the tan line.
That's like, you could tell who's driving the car most of the time because it's either their left or their right arm that gets tanned, right?
Yeah.
I guess if you live in Australia or in the UK, right, though, I guess it's the other arm because you drive on the other side.
Exactly.
You're going, what is she talking about? But yeah, I'm not used to that. And I see that almost as, so there's 4 Apple products, right? So there's, actually 5, right? If you think about the desktop, right? The Apple,
Well, I guess we can count computers as one.
Yeah.
One thing.
Well, no, but see, then there's laptops, which are portable.
Well, yeah.
And then there's the middle child that I call the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the iPhone. And then there's the watch, right?
Yep.
So if you go down the line, for me, it's like, I'm okay with the laptop. And then I've got the iPhone. And I'm cool with that. I've never had an iPad. I've seen them. I think they're cool, but I've never had them because I'm constantly thinking about how I'm gonna budget everything, and I invest a lot into, the things that I do with mobile filmmaking, like the film festival.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, and I'm not experimenting a lot. I will have to tell you guys, so I had an issue with video from our event where some of it was HDR, and I usually simply just use GarageBand to edit my videos, and this time I couldn't.
You mean iMovie?
Yeah, in iMovie. Oh, what did I say?
GarageBand.
That's where I make the music. But one of the things about that was that it wasn't handling the HDR, and it kind of like threw me out for a curve. And so I had to use, listen to me, like I had to use DaVinci Resolve. And it was a learning curve, but it brought me back to my older, Final Cut Pro days.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't take that long for me to get it, and you watched the video. It was all right, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking about our film festival event video. So, Aaron, when you film at Comic-Con, did you get any B-roll and things like that of the exhibits and all that?
No, I didn't do that much filming this time around.
God, that's all I did, I think.
I purposely wanted to be a regular con goer, except for my panel on Friday.
Yeah,
that was pretty much my only commitment. So,
well, I couldn't stop. As a matter of fact, because when I'm moving, I'm naturally seeing moments, right? So I was taking photos and shooting B-roll and taking photos and shooting B-roll. But at the same time, here's something that was really, really interesting. I was literally, I made this up, and one of the volunteers at Comic-Con, I was talking to her and she said, I'm going to use that now with your permission, or without your permission. I can't remember exactly what she said because we were both laughing. But I said I spent the entire time that I spent at Comic-Con drinking stories. Mm-hmm. Because everybody that was there, Comic-Con got postponed, just like our film festival, right? And when people finally were able to go, they were so excited and it was kind of emotional for a lot of them as well, finally being there, because Comic-Con, it's not just an event, it's a culture, it's a big community. And I could totally understand that. So, me, naturally, I love to talk to people and I love to share stories and, listen to their stories. And it was just unbelievable to me that everyone I approached, it was a natural conversation, story sharing, right?
Yeah.
And it was just so overwhelmingly awesome. Like, I just don't even know how to explain it, but it was a really good energy, really good vibe with people. You could really connect with people. It was just fantastic. I had such a good time doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I think and for the most part, if I wasn't in a panel, I was definitely on the floor talking to people, especially, like I said, in Artist Alley and Small Press, because I haven't seen a lot of these people in 3 years. So whether it's, in those areas or just walking around, I would see somebody that I haven't seen in such a long time. And, with every intention of just maybe, saying a quick hello, how are you? How you doing? Maybe just spending 15 minutes at the most, talking to them, because I was on my way to a panel.
Right.
It would end up being like an hour and a half just talking. So, I didn't get to do maybe 50% of everything that I wanted to do at the convention center, simply because I was catching up with a lot of people. It was both cathartic and, just exciting just to sort of reconnect and network with a lot of people that I haven't seen in such a long time, and meet new people. There's a creator named Brian Tillman. He has a panel that I like to attend whenever I can. It's how to pitch and promote yourself. And one of the things that he first does at the beginning of the panel is he makes you say hello to the people that are next to you, because his biggest thing is, why are you shy here at Comic-Con? You're here with your tribe. You should be making every effort to network and to get to know, the people here. You should take that chance and see where it goes, because where else you can have this opportunity, So I always take that to heart, and I appreciate, that he promotes that, because it's true. I mean, you're there with people who are supposedly like-minded, and who's probably like almost all the things that you like, or at least can appreciate it. So you should take that extra moment in time to if you're stuck in line, talk to the person next to you, because you're going to be there for a couple hours. You might as well strike up a conversation.
That is me. We just crossed paths. Our eyes met. Now we're going to have a conversation.
Right.
That's me.
Mm-hmm.
I can totally understand. There were people there though that were, you could tell, were introverted more.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I'm gonna share something. You're not gonna believe this. I don't think anybody that's listening is gonna believe this if they know anything about me, because I love interacting with strangers. I am not shy to, yell something across the parking lot. If I see somebody way across in the parking lot and there's something, right, I'll shout it out. No big deal. I don't get embarrassed in that way. I get embarrassed in other things, being put in front of the camera for one. But I don't get embarrassed in interacting with strangers. But I know people do. I know some people do. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that. Because when I was little, those kids that you approach, your friend maybe has a little child, and you approach them and their little child begins to twirl around and hide between their parents' legs. That was me. I was super shy. Aaron, do you believe that?
No.
Yes, I was. What broke me?
Oh yeah, I was about to ask you.
I know. Well, because that's a natural question. Like, what the heck? What happened was, when I was about 18, 19, I can't remember exactly. I was very young. And I was looking for a job, and I fell into this job where it was selling stuff, like stereos and all kinds of different things. And the thing about it is, you would go out with a couple of people, right, in a car. I got to tell you, this was a blast. But you would go out with people, and you would just go out and pitch people and sell these things. You have your permits and all that stuff to do it. Well, the thing is that I was really shy at the time, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this. You want me to just walk up to a stranger and sell them something and make a pitch and then take their money, basically? Yeah, that's the work, So I started feeling more and more comfortable, and that's where my outgoing personality came from. You know, I would dare myself, you know, I would pace back and forth, you know, and then approach somebody, or, you know, go into a business and hey, you know, blah, blah, you know, it was just something that I learned to do. And so if you're shy, one of the best things to do is to go into sales, because you're not going to make any money unless you force yourself to talk to people. But what it does teach you is how to read people as well.
Right.
And that's part of the interaction. It's a two-way stream in communication. It's like the giving and the taking. You know, there's the, in the old days in the history, right, the call and the response, right? And that's why I'm not as shy anymore.
You know, it's funny you mention that, because I think that's one thing that's missing with, you know, with a lot of podcasting that I've been doing recently. You know, a lot of my podcasts before were in person.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, now that, you know, with the pandemic, it's been more, you know, virtual. And I miss picking up on visual cues from the person that I'm interviewing, because I think that really adds a different element to the interview.
Yeah. And do you also now, because you've been doing it more remotely, also now pick up on the, you know, the cues that are not visual? Auditory cues?
Oh, yeah, of course. But it's still different, you know?
Yeah, it's always a little different. I remember when we recorded some of these episodes at Lestat's coffee shop here in San Diego. That was fun. There were things happened sometimes, you know, but yeah, I've been recording remotely, and it was part of the reasons why I started this podcast, was because the people that we met that became part of this mobile filmmaking community were usually in another country, and it was hard during our film festival. You know, it was a limited time that you have with people to sit down with them and really have a huge conversation with that person, nevertheless record it, right?
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because I remember the first time we did a podcast right after the festival.
Yeah.
And I think we hooked up your audio recorder and my audio recorder.
Yeah.
And we had like how many mics and how many guests on that podcast?
We had that round table.
Right.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. The reason why we had to do that, you guys, was because we didn't have enough microphones to go around, you know. I remember everybody that was there, actually. We are now open, just FYI. Which means for your information. Well, you know, I want to make sure everybody around the world understands what I'm talking about here. So we are accepting film submissions right now, but there's a little thing that we've changed. Over the years, we've been, a lot of people have asked us to allow them to submit films that are longer than 5 minutes. Now, when we started our film festival, the very first one, Aaron, it was 1 to 3 minutes. And it was like, that's good enough to share a story and prove to people you can do this. And then right after the first one, we went into 1 to 5 minutes. But we're going to be going into 12 years now. This is our 12th edition of the film festival. So after a few conversations and some deliberation, we raised the time. So the minimum amount for these short films is now 3 minutes. But the maximum time is 10 minutes. And we just want to be fair with everybody, because people will undoubtedly wonder, well, why don't you just make it any? Sure, we'd get probably more films that way. But in reality, when we're programming our in-person event, we have to think about the time that we have for each program. And we also have feature films, feature length films. And it's a weekend event, really. So it gets a little hard along with all the other things that we do at the film festival because it's pretty celebratory, and also we work on inspiring everybody, and we like for people to participate. If you remember in our film festival, Aaron, Ryan and Brandy McDonald, coming down to do a workshop, a mobile filmmaking workshop presentation, and it was great, actually. It's 3 to 10 minutes for the short films. The feature length films are the same, 40 to 120 minutes or 2 hours. And then we also have, you know about this, Aaron. We have a screenplay competition, and the screenplay competition is for short films. Thinking low budget. Most screenplays are not written for the camera. They're not. They're based on this is going to be a film of this budget or that budget. So just thinking low budget, but in the back of your mind, it's going to be shot with a mobile phone. But 4 to 8 minute films. And also we got one that I'm really excited about that will expand the community of film and content creators and video, along with the mobile enthusiasts, smartphone enthusiasts for creating content. And that is Frame a Story, one story in one frame. And it's a smartphone photo challenge. So you can use all brands for any of these things that we're talking about, any phone camera.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what people turn in.
Yeah, me too. So that should be interesting. But outside of that, I want everybody to note it now because it's always on the last weekend of April is when we have our film festival. And that's going to be next year in 2023. It's going to be April 28th through the 30th. So mark your calendar. You too, Aaron.
I'll do it right now.
Aaron, is there anything from our film festival that really, really inspired you enough to share with our listeners?
It's really the same thing that inspires me and makes me want to help you every year. It's just the community. I want to help you build a community of mobile filmmakers. And every year I meet somebody new, or I meet new people, new filmmakers who just, make me go, wow. It's just incredible that, what these people can accomplish with the smartphone. And I think more people need to learn about it. So, anything I can do to help you out, I'm there for you.
Well, thank you. The other thing that I wanted to mention about this year's film festival, which was so cool, was that we had, I mentioned Ryan, and Brandy. They submitted their film into our film festival in 2020. They were going to come out, actually, and that was the first year we had to not cancel, but rethink ourselves. And that was Married and Loving It.
Yeah.
Feature film. So they came, they were there. And also Levi Austin Morris, who's been working on a film, I think it's called Paralysis. But he also submitted a film in 2020. I believe it was in 2020. And yes, and he also came to the film festival because he was in LA, right? So he came down to the film festival. So it was really neat to have filmmakers from previous years. And I'm saving the last one that was there. You know who I'm talking about, right?
I am. I do know.
Yeah. So it was really awesome to also have, and she was also one of the judges for the feature film panel, Jennifer Zhang, who made Sharon, who won the Best Feature Film in 2021. So it was
Yeah.
great having.
It was really good. I like that film.
Yes. I was not expecting, that many actual filmmakers to come out to the festival, including the filmmakers, as you know, that won the fourth runner-up award, Caroline Spence and James Smith.
Yeah, they're awesome people.
Yeah, and they're Kelly Calabrese.
Right.
No matter how I say their last name, I'm always. And then it was Rob Roworth as well. So that was pretty cool to also have. It was really neat. It almost felt like old times, sort of speak. And it was really neat to celebrate what you all are doing, and we were celebrating the people that couldn't come. Our sponsor for the podcast is jambox.io, and basically they have music. They have music. Some of their tracks are divided so that you can manipulate each track for each instrument for your films, which is really, really cool. And we may get a little bit of a small commission, but if you want to try them out, you can get a 20% discount. And so all you have to do is put in the promo code SBP, imagine that, right? SBP20 during your checkout, and you'll get that 20% discount. They have a lot. I love their website. Have you seen their website, Aaron?
I'm on it right now, actually.
You like the art in there?
Yeah, it looks good.
Looks really cool, huh?
I like the desaturated imagery.
What I find really cool about it, like when I had that video that I had to do the event video, I went ahead and used a few. Actually, all the tracks that I use in that video are from them.
Nice.
Yeah, and it just brings. I mean, it's better than GarageBand. I mean, sound quality wise, you cannot compare. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that because, like I said, it's been a while since we've last had our episode of the podcast. So, all right. So where can people follow you, Aaron?
They can just look me up on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. And my handles are all the same on all of them. It's Aaron Nabus, AARON NABUS. And you can also follow hallh.com. That's HALLHDOTCOM. And that'll take you to my podcast, The Hall H Show.
So you actually spell out dot.
Yeah.
Hall H dot. Okay.
Yeah, because our website's hallh.com. So.
Right. Well, yeah, but okay, cool. No, I just wanted to make sure that people got that. And we're also on Instagram, Mobile Film SD. All right. Hey, thanks for coming on the show, Aaron. You want to say goodbye to our friends?
Goodbye, my friends, and go make a movie on your smartphone. We want to see it at next year's festival, so get to it.